Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino, Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. It's just beautiful and lovely. You know why it's beautiful and lovely? Well, first of all, we're here together, and I love that. But just prior to this video, I'm listening to The Doors, I'm listening to the Rolling Stones, and I'm just loving life right now, seriously. But then we got to come back to some kind of twisted reality, and that's where we are right now. I want to talk about the economic news that we got here, the twist going on, again, being propagandized by the mainstream channels. It's enough to make anyone laugh. It really is. So let's start off with this. So retail sales drop more than expected. No one saw this coming. Oh, really? How about, yeah. How do you not see any of this stuff coming when you have central banks who have declared war? Literally open war on the people of the world here. And, you know, nothing would surprise me, especially how the mainstream propaganda ministry here is twisting these numbers that just came out, you know, their numbers, because they're absolutely true, on inflation. I want to talk about that. So, I'm laughing. So, producer prices here. Apparently, we had a miracle happened. They dropped more than expected month over month. But what they're not going to tell you is year over year, the longer term trends. Well, producer prices are still rising at a staggering pace, 6.2% year over year. But focus on the short term, because that's what they want you to do. Okay. Oh, it's the Fed. They're doing fantastic. They really care about you. So you can tell because producer prices or wholesale prices here have dropped more than expected. Bullshit. Okay, that's number one. And number two, look, I almost hate talking about this stuff because I don't believe a word of it, and neither do you. These numbers have no bearing on reality whatsoever. But look what they do. Look here. Don't look over here. They want you to focus on the short-term trend month over month. And they want you to ignore the longer term trends, which are the ones that matter here year over year. It's a mind screw psyop on an unprecedented scale, but this is what they always do. It's the same distractions, deceptions, lies, and everything else. Anyway, it's pretty typical of what you see around here. So the Bank of Japan, just real quick, they decided to leave their monetary policy unchanged. Okay. With regard to the Bank of Japan, what happened recently? And I know you will remember this because we spoke about it right here. They allowed their 10-year yield to float instead of being fixed here. And this did send shockwaves through the global bond market. Okay. We watched a lot of gyrations occur. Now all of a sudden a miracle is happening, and you know who's doing this. We're seeing stability here in the debt market. This is central banks, again, buying more. And you have to realize something else here, people. Understanding that the mechanism demands that the debt be constantly inflated upon, this means central banks have to buy more exponentially just to stabilize or foster the illusion of stability here in global debt markets. Now, with that said, we watched global bond yields drop slightly overnight here. And what did that do? The MMRI, Mannarino Market Risk Indicator, last time I just looked at it, trading didn't start for about 31 minutes here, is now at 217. 217. Remember, below 200, this high risk environment turns into a moderate risk environment. Now, there's a lot of talk out here. If you were to go to CNBC, Bloomberg, look at their websites, they're pushing a lot of fear here. Oh, the market's about to fall off of a cliff. I'm going to say bullshit, all right? If they manage, and you know this better than anybody else on this freaking planet, what are they trying to do? When you see a headline like that, they want to raise people's anxiety and their fear. They want you to sit there and be glued to watching whatever they want to program your mind to and twist you into some kind of alternate reality. But the fact of the matter is, and I don't care what happens with the economy, with earnings, with forward guidance, with PE ratios, and all the fundamental stuff that used to matter, if the illusion of stability in the debt market is maintained, and it seems that right now there is a massive effort to, again, foster that illusion here. And if they manage to keep the relative strength of the dollar weak, look at the dollar this morning. Okay, on a relative strength basis, the dollar is markedly lower. You got a drop here in the 10-year yield. This is being reflected in the MMRI at 217. I sincerely believe, I believe this, what I'm going to tell you. The MMRI, within a short period of time, is going to drop below 200. And when that happens, forget about the hype. Forget about the stock market falling off of a cliff anytime soon. Stocks are going higher. Stocks are going much higher. Three things, people. Three things have to happen. You know what I'm talking about. Stability in the debt market, a weaker dollar on a relative strength basis, and crude oil. Are you watching crude oil? Are you watching energy as of late? Greg Mannarino and you, all right, we've discussed right here on this very blog towards the end of last year. In 23, energy prices are going to start to move much, much higher. And we're already seeing that happen, okay? And with regard to inflation here, people, yesterday I wrote a paper and I read it here for all of you to understand what's happening, okay? Let me be even more clear about what's happening and what central banks are going to do moving forward. They're in a race to the bottom. They're in a collective race to the bottom, trying to suck purchasing power out of their currencies here. By doing so, what does that mean? It's going to cost more of their central bank issued notes to buy anything. So the illusion here, what we're hearing from the mainstream propaganda ministry is all bullshit, dog shit, cat shit, turtle shit, or whatever kind of shit you want to imagine here. Inflation is going much, much higher. Central banks, again, and I said this yesterday, have no intention at all. They do not want to slow or stop inflation. Maybe they want to slow the pace of it a little bit so people can tolerate it, okay? That's really what's going on here. The pace of inflation, according to their numbers, is slowing. I don't particularly see that. I mean, you and I, we go shopping, we buy food. Yes, we've seen a drop in energy prices over the last several months, but they're going back up. Are you watching this? Of course you are. I know you are. And you're human, okay, unlike some of these creatures here. So we participate in this whole thing here. We go shopping, we buy food, we buy energy. So look, they can fist feed us whatever dog shit they want to. And they're going to try to convince us that what we're seeing with our own eyeballs is not real. And this is a common thing that's been going on since like forever here. And that's just the way it is. But the fact of the matter is, what they can't tell you is the system must inflate in order to function. Okay, and we're going to see several phenomenons occur as we move forward. That is, central banks buying more debt off balance sheet. You can go, of course, look, right now, open a new search engine. Go look at the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. Certainly looks like it's dropping now, doesn't it? But that's the public balance sheet. First of all, it's fake. Second of all, they're not going to ever allow you to see what the central banks are doing off balance sheet. Where does all this cash come from? To fund wars, to fund warp speed vaccines, and wherever else they want to throw at us here? Well, you're not going to see this reflected in the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. No, we don't have the cash. It has to be borrowed. Every single program instituted by our so-called government to throw cash over here, throw cash over there, fund wars and everything else, we don't have it. It must be borrowed from central banks. This is a phenomenon around the world. But you see, you're not allowed to know this stuff. You're supposed to think everything is what it is because they're telling you. Anyway, you can't make this shit up if you try to, people. It's an impossibility. Anyway, so with regard to the bit of information we got recently from Goldman Sachs, how the data with regard to jobs is inaccurate, basically saying that it's fake. We found out here that Microsoft is cutting a lot more jobs, and as a matter of fact, more tech companies are coming forward saying, hey, we're going to be cutting jobs too. So let's see what we have here. Let's just wrap all this up. We have an environment here where the economy continues to crater faster, period, okay? And they're allowing us to know this. Okay, wow, I guess it's no big secret. This is a global phenomenon as central banks are going out of their way to crush demand, crush the consumer. Henceforth, why retail sales news this morning is, full more than full. Fell. I only had 1 cup of coffee. Actually, I had 1.5. More than expected. But it's interesting here with this producer prices thing. Oh yeah, miracle just happened. They fell more than expected, but they're not telling you about the long-term trends. Look it up for yourself, okay? Long-term trends dictate where we're going, okay? In the short run, any freaking thing can happen. But that's what they want you to look at. Look at this. Don't you dare look at the longer-term trends. Oh no, because inflation is going to continue to rise by design as central banks continue to inflate. They continue to inflate because they're again working towards their goal to own it all, to own the world. Imagine, seriously, an institution that has the power with no oversight. They can do anything they want at any moment with their product. What is their product? Debt. They issue debt to the world in whatever amount they see fit, and they use that their leverage here, debt, to buy anything they want to fund anything they want to, which allows them to inflate. And yesterday I explained to you the money pool is continuing to get larger. The global money pool, the collective aggregate amount of fiat currency being issued by central bank in whatever denomination. You know all this. At least I hope so. All right, people, look, so on the back of that, you got stock futures this morning right now, at least relatively flat. Gold and silver catching a bid. Crypto's doing okay. Crude oil getting bid higher. MMRI, like I told you, 217. Watch for a drop in the MMRI. And I don't care what kind of fear tactic they want to use on you. Oh, the market's going to fall off of a cliff. Yes, it is. We all know that. But anything could happen in the short run. The longer term trends here, at least looking at risk in the market, it's dropping. Why? Because central banks are buying it all. They're propping up the market. And if you don't believe that central banks are also buying the stock market, well, then you're absolutely deluded here. Okay, the Federal Reserve has a trading desk, the New York Fed, and they buy whatever they want to. This is a managed market. Nothing is what it seems to be here. And at one point, yes, of course. Why do you think, for example, central banks are destroying the purchasing power of their currency? They're going to issue a new system, a completely digital system. They're phasing out their current system to issue in a new one. You know that. And at one point, yes, we are going to get a meltdown here in the debt market first. That's going to be the trigger to the big one. The big one is going to melt. The meltdown in the debt market is going to destroy global stock markets, destroy them. And it's going to be extremely rapid. Okay, you know this already. It's the complete opposite of what they're doing now. Central banks buying it all, buying the debt to stabilize it. Once you get this uncontrolled spike in global bond yields as bonds sell off, it's going to kill, in the literal sense, global equity markets. Cash is going to move into commodities. This is why I've been telling you. And I also believe into cryptos. I've been telling you this forever. No, my stance hasn't changed on that. Anyway, look, I think all of this should make sense to you. I really, really do. And if you've been a follower of this blog, there's nobody who has a better handle on what's actually going on than you. And I'm proud to say that. We're like, what do I always tell you? We're a team. We're getting through this dog shit together, and we're putting ourselves in the best possible situations, betting against the debt, becoming our own central bank, realizing the end game of central banks here, what they're going to do, what they're trying to do, moving forward here, why they are crushing the global economy, trying to kill an entire class of people on a worldwide scale. We're going back into a feudal system with a whole new financial system. Do you see this? It should be clear to you what's going on here. Okay. Anyway, that's where we stand this morning. And like I said, I hope you get something out of these videos. I really, really do. And I urge you to share these things. Get them out there. And please comment. I want to hear from you, as always. All right. I will see all of you at the end of the day. We'll sum this whole freaking thing up. All right. Love you a lot. I'm out of here.